Hey, what's up? So over the weekend, I had this idea where I was like, what if I made a video on how to meet your girlfriend's friends? Then after thinking about it, I was like, that's a little bit too basic. And then yesterday, I got an email asking me, hey, can you make a video on how to meet your girlfriend's friends? And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do that. So basically, this guy sent me an email. He said that this is a situation. I'll summarize it here for you. Essentially, his girlfriend asked him to meet some of her grad school friends, and typically, he has a pretty separate social circle from his girlfriend. And he went to like a barbecue with like 12 people. And his thing was, he was like, yeah, I don't have a lot in common with them. Also, it's kind of a lot of people to meet at one time. And he didn't really think that they were that close with his girlfriend in general. Not all of them, at least, maybe some of them. And the ones that he was close with, they already met. He feels more introverted. And then basically, he was like, I don't really want to be a tryhard. I don't really drink. So he spent 70% of the time on his phone by himself, right? And then basically what happened was at some point, some girl there asked his girlfriend, like, yo, is your boyfriend always this so shy? His girlfriend, probably felt embarrassed by it. And then later on, they went home, they argued about it, right? And then he emailed me. So I definitely think he did some things wrong here. And I'm going to walk through how you meet your girlfriend's friends. So, okay. I think basically it's really important. I don't know, this is obvious, but really important. Like, you have to be liked by your girlfriend's friends, right? For a number of reasons. The most important reason is because you're probably going to be spending a lot of time with them in the near future or long future if it goes well. So you might as well enjoy it, right? And you also want to make sure that you're not putting your girlfriend in a situation where she has to pick or there's extra work to hang out because one of you can't get along or whatever, right? It's just not productive, and then that will probably cause more reasons for you to break up. I'm not saying that's going to cause you to break up, but it's just more friction in the relationship, right? And the most important reason I think is because you need third parties to say nice things about you, right? At some point, you're gonna have an argument. Your girlfriend's probably gonna complain about your friend, right? And her friend will either be like, "Yeah, fuck that guy," or be like, "Hey, you know what? Actually, he seems pretty nice. I mean, maybe you should rethink it, whatever," right? And that's gonna be based on her impression of you and what information she's gathered from her interaction with you. So it's really important that you act like a cool guy and you make her friend feel like you're really good for your girlfriend. So another thing is like for him, he was like, oh, they're not close friends, right? Oh, what if they're not close friends? I'm probably never gonna see these people again, or maybe I'll see them once a year or whatever. So it doesn't really matter. And I think that's the wrong way to think about it. Even if they're not close friends, it doesn't mean that you can just ignore them because they know people that your girlfriend knows, right? They run the same circles, right? You are there to represent her. She asked you to hang out with her friends because she wants to show you off. She wants everyone to know, hey, I have a boyfriend that's not a loser. He's a cool guy. Like, and then she would expect you to act accordingly, right? So, how do I say this? So, just because you aren't going to see him again, it's still important for you to make a good impression because they're going to think about you as a representation of her. Just like how if you brought your girlfriend out and she embarrassed you, you wouldn't like that, right? So you want to make sure, even if you're having a boring time and you don't like these people or you don't care about what these people are saying, you still have to show up for her and at least pretend like you're having a good time and pretend like you're a cool guy, even if you're not. All right. What about? Okay, yeah. So how to meet friends, right? I mean, this is pretty straightforward. I think it's really easy. Obviously, just like with anything else, first impressions are really important. I think most important is you don't want to act too fucking cool, right? So most likely you already know a lot about her friends. They already know a lot about you because your girlfriend's already told them or whatever. So just like act like you care. Just don't pretend like you don't know anything about them. Just talk to them like you genuinely want to build friendships with them, right? And I think the energy you want to exude is you want to be seen as someone that treats your girlfriend well. So don't pretend like you don't have to be. It's not like an interview. You don't have to like tell them how great you are or whatever. Just try to show how well you treat their friend, which is your girlfriend, right? And the goal is you want them leaving and be like, hey, did you meet Brenda's boyfriend? He seems like a really nice guy. He seems like a really caring guy. He seems like a really awesome boyfriend, right? That's kind of the message you want them to say to each other after you leave. And then, yeah, once again, I think it's important if you can try to build a genuine relationship with them because you're going to be seeing them a lot in the near future. Then your life will be a lot easier. Not just because you get along with them, but also you have more friends and more people to talk to. Okay, so another thing that you might consider that wasn't mentioned in this situation is her guy friends, right? And I think when you're older, your girlfriend probably won't have that many guy friends, but when you're younger, she's definitely gonna have guy friends. And I think my biggest advice is like don't have small dick energy. And I don't know how to define that exactly, but let's say this for example: your girlfriend's guy friends, some of them probably had a crush on her in the past, probably got friend zoned by her, right? And then maybe they're over it, maybe they're not. Doesn't matter. You don't have anything to prove, right? So don't be super possessive of her, and don't try. You don't have to show anything, right? She already chose you, right? You're already together, and you don't need to value that highly in front of them, right? If you just act like a cool guy and like, hey, everything's cool, like she's with me, obviously, I don't have to try to make other people jealous, and vice versa. Then you'll come off as a lot cooler than if you were trying too hard. If that makes sense. And then I would also recommend you should try building a genuine friendship with these guys as well, because you're probably pretty similar, right? And the more chances you have to make friends in your life, I think the better. The more you take those chances, the better your life will come out. So to summarize here, just like, just be cool. Even if they liked your girlfriend in the past or whatever, just get over it. Or, if you suspect anything, don't suspect anything. Everything's gonna be fine. Just don't have small dick energy. All right. So how to make a good first impression? I mean, this is really straightforward. If you're coming in, you're meeting like a group of people at once, it might be kind of awkward for you, right? And like maybe you talk to some people, you talk to 3 people here, you haven't talked to these people. So just go around and just introduce yourself to everybody, right? So then if you run into them later at this party or whatever, it's not going to be that awkward. And then if you're talking to someone and you don't, if you don't really care, but you have to pretend like you care, just ask them about themselves and then pay attention when they talk about themselves, right? And then the only other rule of thumb is don't talk about yourself for that long, right? So people like to talk about themselves. So you let them talk about themselves, you listen correctly, you add some tidbits, make some jokes, talk about yourself a little bit, and then move back to them, okay? Pretty straightforward stuff. Once again, you are representing your girlfriend, so you want to make a really good first impression. Yeah, I think just general advice, you're going to meet a lot of people in your life, and it's really important to be well-liked, right? Because you never know when people you never know when you're going to need people in the future, and vice versa, right? And when you're younger, you meet a lot of people. And then when you're older, you meet a lot less people. So if you can build, doesn't have to be great connections, but just build good connections with people when you're younger, the more of those you can build, if someone has a good impression of you and you need something later on, it makes it a lot easier to ask for help and vice versa. Or you can help someone, they ask you for help, and then you build a relationship that way. So just keep that in mind. You're not going to have the opportunity to meet so many people when you're older. You still will, but not as much as when you're older. So when you're younger, you have the opportunity to just build better relationships. Cool. So that's basically it. Hope that was helpful. Yeah, I'm building community. So if you are into my videos and you would like to hear more, please join my email list. I have a wait list going. I think I'm gonna build a community around goal setting and accountability. So I'm not sure what that looks like yet. I'm just collecting emails for now, and then I will figure that out as we go. But appreciate your time watching this video. See you next one.